To get the Evil Spirit set in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you'll need to travel to the 3 Labyrinths of Hyrule and navigate the ground, sky, and depths portions of each, all of which will be covered in this guide. As usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. We'll go for the South Lomei Labyrinth first, and I find these labyrinths are easiest to tackle by first reaching the sky portions where a shrine can be activated as a fast travel point. The most accessible way to reach the sky portion of this labyrinth is from the Gerudo Canyon Skyview Tower. To first activate this tower, you'll need to help the repairman get up to it. Grab the large metal box behind the nearby building station and attach it to the elevator so it acts as a counterweight. Once in the air, glide southeast towards the Sky Island with a small circular pond. There, you'll find a Zonai wing on a launch ramp, along with rockets to outfit it with. After doing that, hop on and launch into the sky, standing on the right side of the wing to steer it south towards the Sky Labyrinth. Once you're aimed towards the labyrinth, center yourself on the wing so it flies in a straight path. Even with minimal energy cell capacity, you should easily make it within gliding, if not jumping distance of the Sky Labyrinth, where you can then activate the shrine. We'll actually need to complete the ground labyrinth first, but it's super easy to do from this position. Jump off the edge and dive towards the southeast quadrant of the maze/labyrinth. You don't have to fly all the way to the southeast corner of the maze though, as the spot we are looking for is barely in the southeast quadrant, near the center of the maze. Landing there, you'll find a corridor leading beneath the center of the maze, where a Raru's Blessing Shrine and the Labyrinth Terminal can both be found. Activate the terminal, then fast travel back to the sky portion of the labyrinth via Shrine. There, you'll now be able to open the labyrinth by interacting with the terminal. The objective with all Sky Labyrinths is to locate and interact with 4 terminals within the labyrinth, and you mostly traverse it by diving/gliding. This first one is really easy to cheese though. Just fly through the center and into the first corridor on your left. There, you can use Ascend to get on top of the maze. Once there, run and jump along the tops of the maze walls to reach the 4 terminals. Each one is at a separate corner of the maze, down in the center of a ring. Another nice thing about this maze is that each terminal has a nearby ceiling that you can use Ascend on to return to the top of the maze. While I have a moment, I wanted to recommend the glide set for the Sky Labyrinths. While it doesn't do much for this labyrinth since we can just run across the top of it, the other labyrinths will require us to do some gliding through it. For that, the glide set will significantly improve speed and maneuverability. Getting it is a bit of a process, but it's also pretty fun, and I have a guide on how to get the glide set, which I'll leave a link to near the bottom of this video's description. Another tip I have is that if you need to check the positions of the terminals in any of the mazes, you can do so by going to the adventure log. Once you've activated the fourth and final terminal, you can either use Ascend to return to the top of the labyrinth, or just let the now rushing winds carry you there on your glider. In either case, find and activate the fifth terminal, which is on top of the labyrinth. Doing this will open the ground gate on the floor that to this point was blocking entry to the depths portion of the labyrinth. All you need to do is leap off the diving platform and descend into the depths. Be sure to deploy your glider before hitting the bottom and throw out a Bright Bloom seed to provide some light. This portion of the labyrinth is fairly easy to navigate. Just go down the stairs and turn around. What might prove a bit more challenging is defeating the Flux Construct 3. In all honesty, they aren't too bad to fight, they just have a large pool of health. Use Ultra Hand to grab the block with the Construct core and pull. This will cause the whole thing to come tumbling down, and you can strike at the core block to damage it. If you are in need of stronger weapons or a more elaborate guide on how to defeat Flux Constructs, I have several guides that might prove useful, linked in this video's description. Also, if you don't have many strong weapons, definitely fuse the core from this Flux Construct 3 to one of your base weapons after defeating it, as it provides a significant damage and durability boost. In any case, after defeating the Flux Construct, activate the nearby terminal to complete the labyrinth. A chest will rise out of the ground containing the Evil Spirit Mask. As a side note, if you want to activate the light route in this area before leaving, climb the south ladder out of the pit and use Ascend twice to reach it. Next up, we'll be going northeast to the Lomei Sky Labyrinth. It's easiest to reach by using the Olri Mountain Skyview Tower. If it's your first time at this tower, you'll need to shoot down the nearby Aracuda and bring the terminal back to the tower. Once in the air, fly east towards the Sky Island with the roaming Flux Construct. You should see a partially built Zonai machine on the square part of the island, and we can use this to reach our destination. There are a total of 6 batteries in this area, and we will distribute them as evenly as we can across the 4 corners of the flying machine. After doing that, take control and fly north towards the Sky Labyrinth. Unless you have lots of battery upgrades, you probably won't make it all the way to the labyrinth. However, you should still make it within gliding distance of the island with the small circular pond. Just watch out for the Aracudas. At this island, you'll find a similar ready-made flying machine, but before taking control of it, add around 3 or 4 more batteries. You'll find plenty of them stacked against a wall near one of the island's edges. A total of 7 or 8 batteries should provide more than enough energy to make it to the Sky Labyrinth, where you'll want to activate the shrine before moving on. Next, dive down towards the Lomei Labyrinth Island below. We'll be landing towards the north side of the labyrinth near the end of the path that runs into the east wall of the large central chamber. Climb up the walls there and run down the short enclosed corridor to find a Zonai sword and shield. Use Ascend there to emerge on a staircase and follow it up to reach the Labyrinth Terminal and a Raru's Blessing Shrine. Interact with the terminal, then fast travel back to the shrine up at the Lomei Sky Labyrinth. For this labyrinth, I started by climbing up the outer wall to reach the top. There are spots to rest so that anyone can make it regardless of stamina. You can save on top or place a travel medallion if you have one to return quickly in case of a misstep. The first terminal we will go to is a short distance northeast. After activating it, you can return to the top of the maze using Ascend. We'll need to travel west to reach the second terminal. Running along the outer wall is the safer option, but sprint jumping and gliding across the central towers is the faster option. After activating the second terminal, we can use Ascend once more to return to the top of the maze. Next, move towards the northwest corner of the maze where the third terminal is located. For the first time, we can't ascend out of here, so instead, we'll need to glide and dive along the northern labyrinth wall towards the northeast corner to reach the final terminal. There's one part where you'll need to dive down under a grate, then deploy your glider to rise up over a ledge, but from there it's a short distance to the terminal. After activating all 4 terminals, use your glider to rise up to the top of the labyrinth where a 5th terminal is waiting. Activate it to open the gate down to the depths, and just as before, dive in. The process here is the same as with the first labyrinth. Brighten things up, go down the stairs, find and defeat the Flux Construct 3, and activate the final terminal. This time, the chest will contain the Evil Spirit chest armor, and you can reach the light route in this area by climbing up the north ladder and using Ascend twice. For the last labyrinth, you'll want to have either 2 layers of cold resistance or 1 layer paired with a ruby fused shield to provide warmth. We'll start by heading to the North Lomei Castle top floor, which is easiest to reach from the Picada Stone Grove Skyview Tower, located to the northwest. Once in the air, glide east and land on the closest island of the East Hebra Sky Archipelago. There, you'll find a floating platform, steering stick, and 2 fans, which can all be assembled into a vehicle of sorts. This will make for a relatively easy trip to the island with a device dispenser and the Tannin Naud Shrine. Once there, push the crank to aim the launcher north towards the elevated island, then launch yourself over. There's a Korok puzzle starting inside one of the tree trunks, but we just need to go to the floating platform near the east edge of the island. A fan is there, which we will attach to the center of the platform facing down to provide lift. You'll want to move up vertically until reaching a height of around 1,100 units, and it's okay if you need breaks to recharge your energy. It will just take a little longer. Make sure you're at a height of at least 1,100 units, then reorient the fan so it propels the platform east towards the Sky Labyrinth. The floating platform will despawn as we near the labyrinth, but thanks to our height, we should be within gliding distance and can activate the shrine as a fast travel point after landing. Once you've done that, dive down towards the North Lomei Labyrinth and head for the marked spot in the southeast quadrant. Climb up the ladder there and follow the short path to the terminal and a Raru's Blessing shrine. You can melt the ice blocking the shrine with a flame emitter, ruby fused to a shield, or any other continuous source of heat. Just watch out for the gloom hands that will spawn relatively close by. This shrine is especially worth accessing though, as you'll find a diamond inside. Once you've activated the terminal, fast travel to the shrine up at the North Lomei Castle top floor. This is the trickiest Sky Labyrinth of the three, and ascent is basically worthless for it. Start by flying down the central large corridor. Turn left at the T intersection and deploy your glider from a low position to rise up over a ledge into a narrower, winding corridor. Use your minimap along with a combination of diving down followed by paraglider deployment to navigate over to the northern corner of the maze where the first terminal is found. After activating it, jump back into the maze and navigate your way to the east corner. Here, you'll need to dive down low, then deploy your glider to get a large vertical boost that will put you up over the guardrail by the second terminal. The same guardrail is a little tricky to jump back over, and I found sprint jumping works best. After getting out of that corner, navigate once more to the south corner of the maze where the third terminal is waiting. The fourth terminal is at the center of the labyrinth, and reaching it is fast so long as you know where to go. Jump out into the current and dive beneath the grate to the east. Then move along the corridor, always sticking to the left wall until it opens into a larger channel. Once there, dive down low and deploy your glider to get a vertical boost up. To the north, you should see an elevated guardrail above two converging staircases where you can glide in to reach the terminal. After activating it, jump and use your glider to rise above the labyrinth, then find and activate the fifth terminal. At this point, you're familiar with the routine. Dive down into the depths, brighten things up, locate and defeat the Flux Construct 3, activate one more terminal, and claim your prize, in this case the Evil Spirit Greaves, which will complete the set. To reach the light route here, climb up the west ladder and walk up the stairs towards the central chamber we entered through. Use Ascend to rise up out the top of the labyrinth next to the light route. The Evil Spirit set is very strong in that each individual piece provides a stealth up bonus, and the full set provides the bone weapon proficiency bonus, which makes for the hardest hitting builds in the game. This is all right from the get-go without requiring any upgrades. That being said, the one fairly steep downside is that you cannot upgrade the set at all, so it will only ever provide a measly 12 points of defense. In any case, if you want to see more great guides, you can head over to my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day. If you're here today, have a great Wednesday. And as always, thanks for watching.